Brushes with death in my childhood. When I was a child, I was quite mischievous. I swam across the river several times, a river where boats and rafts passed through. It was deep and wide. I also had several close calls with death. One time, I was playing at the city square. I climbed onto the fence surrounding the square. The fence was lined with sharp iron spikes, designed to protect the area. These spikes looked like rusty spears. I used my toes to cling to and climb the fence, but unfortunately, my toes slipped. Since my chest was above the fence at the time, one of the sharp spikes pierced my chest at an upward angle. Luckily, the spike didn't hit my heart. The doctor who examined me said it was just a little short of piercing my heart. He anesthetized me and stitched the wound. While he was stitching, he asked, "Does it hurt?" I replied, "Just a little." He laughed and said, "I've already anesthetized you, so it shouldn't hurt." After the stitching was done, I stayed in the hospital for a few days before being discharged. Apart from that near-death experience, I had another one when I was younger. Behind my house was a large pond where I often played. There was a still house made of steel at the back of my house, supported by 4 large, flat iron pillars. I often used a basket to scoop fish. Since the water surface was far below the still house, I had to kneel and lean forward to skim floating plants on the water. Fish would usually hide under the plants, and if I was lucky, I could catch fighting fish. One unlucky day, while leaning forward to skim the plants, I lost my balance and fell into the water. The pond was deep, and I didn't know how to swim. I flailed around, trying to stay afloat. I still remember that, not knowing how to swim, I waited for my body to sink until my feet touched the pond's bottom, then pushed myself upward, hoping my head would break the surface so I could breathe. However, I ended up swallowing a lot of pond water. If my neighbor hadn't noticed, I might not be here now. She screamed loudly and called for my father. He ran from the front of the house to the back and grabbed me by the hair to pull me out of the water. That were life-altering events and experiences I wouldn't want to repeat.